Hi there. Welcome back to another episode of Quest for You. 2019, here we are. Second day in. And I want to talk about the topic of regret today. It's been on my mind lately. Not because of 2018. There isn't really anything I regret. Maybe a few minor things. Wasted time and energy with people that didn't deserve it. Too much time on Instagram. Always too much time on Instagram. And the many occasions where I didn't act on my intuition and say or do the right thing in the moment when I felt it. But I'm not left with any regret for anything major. I went after my goals. I made progress. Even though not always linear. I quite often made 2 steps forward and 3 back. But on other occasions I made 10 steps forward and that made up for the delays. 2018 was a great year for me in so many different areas. I discovered mountain climbing and you know all about it. And with that I revived my love for nature. I made several new and unexpected friends. I talked about that in my episode last week. I made great progress with my fitness goals and I'm slowly becoming consistent with my diet. I did not make the progress with Quest for You I had hoped, but some great things are in the works that I'm getting started on as we speak. I went to my first conference this year, which was major. And I found some very clear direction for my path forward this year, partially as a result of that conference. This year was a winner for me. And as I'm looking back at my goals that I set in January last year, I realized that I didn't accomplish many of them. They were way too granular, too specific, despite me lecturing you to keep them general. I didn't follow my own advice. The good news is, I accomplished a lot of other things, not on my list. I also reached goals that I set for 2017 and didn't accomplish then, but I did now. I did, however, accomplish my theme from last year. I don't know if I have shared this ritual with you, but every year I decide on a theme for the coming year. It's usually a phrase that describes the person I will be in the upcoming year. I use adjectives such as kind, generous, helpful, and I state an overarching mission for that year that is not so specific as my goals. And it pleases me to see that I came close to that for 2018. I enjoy reviewing the year. I may not look at my goals for an entire year, but at the end, I do like to look at them and compare the grand plans I had with the reality that played out. I don't get hung up on all my goals and whether I accomplished every one of them. What's more important to me is that I made progress in the areas of my life that matter to me. Because if I don't make any progress at all, then I look back and I regret. You see, when I think of regret, I quite often think of it in the future. Because regret in the past is useless and unproductive. And I spent many years living the regrets of the past. The past is over. I can't change it anymore. It doesn't help me to bemoan the things I didn't do. I rather focus on the things I still can do. The past also quite often doesn't help me to decide on future steps. The person I was 10 years ago was a different one. The friendship I screwed up back then cannot be salvaged anymore, and I may not even want that friendship anymore. The opportunities I missed last year don't matter as much today. Today, I want different opportunities. So let's not waste time with past regrets, my friends. We cannot bring them back. We cannot bring the past back. The person we were is no longer. There's only what is and what isn't. Or perhaps what never was and never could be. If it didn't happen, it wasn't meant to be. That's what I believe. There is, however, a type of regret I find useful and productive. And I call it future regret. I imagine myself when I'm older, looking back at my life now. And I think about what my regrets would be for present-day Janine. Quite often I do this when I'm facing difficult decisions or debate over whether I should go for something or not. Knowing regret will await me when my life is close to being over, I take more chances, say yes more often, care less about what others think, and work a little harder on the things that matter most. Future regret can be a powerful tool to motivate you to take action. I have been pondering over this quote from one of my beloved writers, Jorge Luis Borges. You can only lose what you have never had. I've been reading this quote for several days now. I think about it on occasion throughout the day. You can only lose what you never had. It's the definition of regret, but it's better. Instead of mourning it, wishing it back, and feeling miserable, consider it lost. The past is lost. It's gone. The future is still ahead and can be changed. So when I look ahead at Janine in her rocking chair overlooking the ocean, I want to be certain that I made the best out of every year of my life. And that is why I set goals and then review them at the end of the year, just like I did earlier. That's exactly the process I go through during the quiet time between Christmas and New Year's. The satisfaction and joy I feel knowing I made progress is indescribable. It gives me the certainty that the year was not wasted. Many people die with so many regrets. I recently listened to a podcast with Bronnie Ware, who is an Australian nurse and who has spent several years working in palliative care, caring for patients in the last 12 weeks of their lives. She recorded their dying epiphanies in a blog called Inspiration and Chai, which gathered so much attention that she put her observations into a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Here they are. 1. I wish I'd have the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. 2. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. 4. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. 5. I wish I had let myself be happier. I can see myself with all of these regrets. But now, I still have half my life ahead of me. Another year of that half has just begun. And I have my goals almost finalized. What about you? What are you going to regret when you're older? Are you living a life geared at meeting the expectations of others? Are you spending the majority of it working and not enjoying? Are you holding your feelings back and as a result struggle with the relationships in your life? Do you wish to reconnect with friends but don't have the time or courage? Are you not going for what makes you happy? Do it. Change it. Go after it. We spend so much of our life lamenting the missed chances of the past, while those of the present keep flying by us, unnoticed. Stop for a second and ask yourself, what can you change, even if ever so slightly, that would allow you to look back proudly at your life? Even if I never climb El Capitan, or never even climb at all anymore, I am extremely proud of myself that I gave such a challenging sport a try. What is it for you that would make you proud? Not anyone else, but you. My motivation for you today is this: honor your dreams. Take advantage of the life you still have left to live and go after them. Make the time and put in the effort towards what matters. I climbed almost every single weekend during the summer. It was one of the best summers I've ever had. This came at the expense of some other things, such as less social time. But I didn't really lose anything, yet I gained so much. Happiness is a choice, and that choice is made by you. Make the right choice now, this year, so you don't have to look back and regret. Much love.